My microphone. All right, how are we doing, everybody? Can you guys see me? Okay. The first lesson of running workshops is to test out the chat and the tech. So let me check the chat here. Tell me in the chat if you guys can see me okay and hear me okay. And also, we'll test the chat. Say, hello, Mike. Yes. Okay. Donna, Yvonne. All right, great. Michael, good to see you. Good to be here with you guys. I'm absolutely thrilled that you're here. We still have some people trickling in, but for now, I want to know two things about you. I want to know where you're tuning in from, and I want to know what kind of business you have. So just like quick sentences in the chat. I'll read out some here. We'll do quick fire. And I have my Stanley with me that my wife makes me fill up. So Sarasota, Florida, Yvonne. Okay, cool. I have some family in Florida. Well, my wife has family in Florida, so we go there a lot. Colorado, Scotland, AI agency, love that. That's probably booming right now, Michael. I love the name, by the way. Seattle Foothills, Canada, published preventative Canadian education law publications. Awesome. Daniel's a coach. Seattle insurance sales training. Durham, NC is North Carolina, I think, right? Parent coach. Love it, Mark, Barry. All right, great, guys. So excited you guys are here. Twin Cities aviation consultant. Fantastic. Let me adjust my screen here. As you can tell, this is live. I'm calling out your names. You guys have access to the chat there. Um, all right, so let's get into it. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming today. I know that I'm going to do my best to make this worth your time. I want you to take whatever your hourly rate is, times it by 10. That's the value I'm planning to deliver today. So stick around with me. This is called $100,000 workshops. The reason for that is because that's the result that these systems achieve is hitting $100,000 per workshop that you run and well beyond that into $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 territory. I'm going to show you tons of examples of that today, real life examples of people doing this, and tons of great stuff. So, you guys ready to get started? Let's get started. Tell me in the chat if you're ready to go or throw me up an emoji or something. Ready? Let's do it, Roger. There's a party emoji. All right. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Now, oh my God, we're getting all these AI. We have lots of AIs in here, lots of robots. Okay. Okay, I think we're good to go. All right, here we go. So first of all, before I get gotta minimize this, sorry. Okay, so before I get too into the workshops I'm going to be talking about today, first of all, I want to talk a little bit briefly about myself. The reason is because you probably have never heard of Mike Blankenship. And the reason for that is because I've been the guy behind the guy for a long time now. I've been the guy behind the scenes. And working for people, I'm going to introduce you to a lot of them today, working for Russell Brunson, Matt Gray, lots of amazing, amazing founders. I'm a very privileged, very lucky fella. And that's the reason you haven't heard of me. I don't really have a big personal brand. I don't have like a big LinkedIn. You can go check out my LinkedIn post from yesterday. I think I got 2 likes. I don't have a big LinkedIn following. I don't, on Facebook, I'm a bit more active, but that's the reason you haven't heard of me. I've been sort of like the Wizard of Oz, and this is me kind of coming out behind the curtain saying, hey, I'm the guy who's been doing all this crazy stuff to help these founders achieve this, specifically around workshops, and we're going to talk about that today. But before we do, a few personal things about me. So I grew up in Oregon. Anybody in here from Oregon, tell me in the chat. I'll try to keep one eye on my slides, one eye on the chat. But I grew up in Oregon. I got married at 19 years old, and I've been married for 12 years now. So I'm 31. This is my wife in the upper left-hand corner. That's my wife and I. In the upper right-hand corner is my daughter, who's 8 years old, on my shoulders. Love that girl. In the bottom left-hand corner is both my daughters. So I have an 8-year-old and an 8-month-old. It says 6 months here, but she's now 8 months. And then that lower right picture is my 8-year-old and my wife. So if you want to know what I care about in the world, this is it, right? This is what I care about deeply in my life and in the world. And now we live in Portugal. About 3 years ago, we moved. We were living in Hawaii for 2 years, and then we moved to Portugal. So again, in the chat, let me know if you have been to Portugal. If you haven't been to Portugal, you absolutely need to come. And if you have, then let me know, because it's amazing. So what about the business side of things? So my sort of biggest claim to fame is I've worked with Russell Brunson directly for 7, 8 years now. Good friend of mine, you can see us wishing each other Merry Christmas in the middle here and jamming on stuff like that. Um, Amazing guy and done a ton of work with him. Specifically, a ton of work on the ClickFunnels side. If you know who Russell Brunson is, that's sort of his main bread and butter is ClickFunnels and has been for a long time. A few years ago, he acquired Voomly. He went kind of like on this acquiring spree and acquired all these different businesses. So he acquired Voomly, which is like a video hosting. Guru, Secrets of Success, Marketing Secrets. So Guru is like a funnels analytics. Secrets of Success is his personal development newsletter and brand, and then Marketing Secrets is his marketing secrets newsletter and brand. So I've helped on all of those as well. Now, I was also the head of marketing, and this is sort of the beginning of the story of the workshop stuff. So this is kind of where our story starts, and it's really important to understand the context of what happened here and how these workshops got developed before I kind of teach you what they are. So I was the head of marketing at FounderOS for Matt Gray for 15 months. And over the last decade, I've also had the privilege of working with people like Jay Shetty, Mark Moss, again, a very privileged guy, Scott Oldford, Neil Patel, and many more amazing founders. But workshops specifically changed everything for me, okay? So here's what happened. When I was working with Matt Gray, we had a problem, and it was a beautiful problem. It's the best problem you can have in business, and that is that you collect all the money upfront from your customers. And this is a great problem because a good friend of mine always says, don't let your business die waiting to achieve customer lifetime value. So I'm a huge believer in getting all the money upfront for the thing that you sell. Don't wait to achieve lifetime value. Get the money upfront. So the core offer at the time was $15,000 called FounderOS. And the thing was, we might make a bunch of money this month because all these new customers would come in, but very little the next month because those new customers didn't have recurring payments, right? So there was no MRR. There was no monthly recurring revenue, which means every month we needed new revenue and new sales. So real quick in the chat, let me know if you can relate to this problem. Like you need new customers every month. And if you can't, that's totally fine. Workshops are still going to be a game changer for you. But let me know if you can relate to this specific problem. Daniel says yes. Donna says definitely. Anybody else here? Roger, 100%. Deb says she can relate. Ray says every single month. Yeah, so super common problem in business. And it's a good problem because we get all that money up front, but then it's like a project or a one-off thing, and then we need new customers the next month. So the solution, well, what we needed was an excuse to market and sell our core offer every single month without just like, and this is henna on my hands if you're wondering what that is, sorry, without just spraying and praying content about like the same offer all the time, or sending endless DMs to people who like we're connected to, or our email list, and just bombarding them with the same exact offer constantly. We needed some sort of mechanism, some excuse to drive them to a thing that we could then market our offer through that thing. And by the way, I'd worked with Russell for nearly a decade. I knew about webinars. I love webinars, right? I think Alex Hormozi is awesome. Like Russell's awesome. I love webinars. But, when I was working with Matt Gray, we didn't really want to run webinars. And the reason is, frankly, we just sort of felt like they were kind of icky. Like at Matt Gray at FounderOS has a very premium offer. It's high ticket. It's $15,000 and it goes up to $25,000. And so we didn't feel that the webinar was the right mode or modality or experience or mechanism that we wanted to create to convert people to our offer. So the solution we came up with was workshops. And this is me and Matt jamming. He came to Lisbon and we got to jam. So a workshop is not an auto webinar. It's not a pre-recorded pitch fest, right? Every month we started running a free live workshop to give value and then drive leads and sales to our main program, okay? And we started doing this every single month. And here's the crazy part. 85% of our sales, over $500,000, typically in the average zone of like 400K to 600K, would be generated from just 1 hour every single month, right? So all the sales would come in from that workshop every month, and then the rest would just be a trickle from like random stuff. But almost all the sales came in around the workshop. Now, honestly, after installing these systems, like that's amazing result. It's so cool. But after installing these systems for Matt, part of me wondered if Matt was just special, right? Like if you know Matt Gray, He has a huge audience. You can go look at him on LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube. Like he has a large audience, hundreds of thousands, if not millions. He has a huge email list of about 130,000 people, and he's super smart. Like he's been doing this for a while. He's Matt Gray, right? Like he's super smart. But then I started helping some other founders. I helped Mark Moss install workshops, and he started doing $250,000 per workshop. He actually has two offers, one that's a $2,500 offer, and I'm going to tell you more about some of these people later on. But he has one that's a $2,500 offer that's like his stock picks. So he's big in crypto. If you go to YouTube, look up Mark Moss, Bitcoin. If you're into Bitcoin, you know who Mark Moss is. $2,500 stock picks offer. He also has an offer called Wealth OS. That's a general like wealth building program, and that's $10,000. And he does anywhere in the range of $250,000 per workshop to around $600,000 to $700,000. And he's doing two a month, so he's basically $1 million a month right now. Then I started running them for myself. Right? Which is what we're doing right now. You're in a workshop. I shared my systems with a few friends, and the results have been insane. So Matt Verloc is a good buddy of mine. If you know Matt, let me know in the chat. I know some of you guys might know him. He has a 50. What happened with Matt is he had left his other job. He was launching his own offer for COOs and operators, and it was a $15,000 done for you offer. And he needed a way to sell it. And the crazy part is he didn't even have like a big email list or big audience. I think he had 3,000 followers on Instagram at the time, and he had 1,000 people on his email list, and he did $90,000 from his first workshop. Cal Van Boris, another good friend of mine. Some of you guys might know him. Let me know in the chat if you do. He has a super high ticket done for you sales agency service of about $60,000. And his first workshop working together with me, he did $120,000. Ryan Dossi, I'm going to tell you a lot more about his story later on. So I don't want to go too deep here, but stick around. I'll dive more into his. He's very interesting. I think it'll resonate with a lot of you guys. He has a $10,000 offer to a mastermind and a real estate investing mastermind. In his first workshop, he did $40,000. And there's more to that story. So we'll get into that. So the first question is like, these results are amazing. This is awesome. But what is a workshop, right? Obviously, everyone defines the word workshop differently. Okay. So you can call, it's a free market. People can call things whatever they want. I'm going to tell you today how I define what a workshop is and what I've installed that is working. That sound good to everybody? Give me a thumbs up if that sounds good. Well, I take a drink of my Stanley. All right. So everyone defines workshops differently. Now, here's how I define it, and here's what I'm installing that's working. So here's how the funnel works. You have your dream customer, okay? They attend your free workshop because your dream customer has a pain point, and they have a core pain point that they need solved, right? And they have a desire as well. And so they attend your free workshop to get this desire solved or this core pain point solved. And at the end of the workshop, something happens. Something important happens. You solve one problem, but you create another. And this happens very organically and very naturally. You don't have to try to do it. It's created automatically through the workshop systems. A new problem is created, and that problem is solved by your offer. Okay. And I'm going to get a lot more into detail this later. I call it the 1-2 punch method. I'm going to show you guys A to Z how it works. Okay. So, but I'm just showing you high level funnel right now. So then, because they have this new problem that's been created, you invite them to your offer, which solves the new problem. And it's an invitation and an application. So they go apply to work with you, and then they book a call to explore working with you, and then they buy on the call. Okay? Does that high level make sense to everybody? Tell me in the chat, does that make sense? Yes. Daniel says yes. Roger says yes. Great. Got a thumbs up. Ruth said yes. Okay, cool. So again, we're going to get way more into detail here, but I just want to make sure like high level, we're tracking. Cool. So workshops, this is very, very important. Workshops are not webinars. We don't sell on the workshop. I got great news for you guys today. You're in a workshop and there's no link for you to buy anything today. Everybody give me a round of applause. Okay. We don't sell on the workshop. Daniel says, thank you. Right. And I'm going to explain why that's so important in a second. We don't sell low ticket offers. This is also super important. We stay premium. Okay. We stay high ticket and we don't sell low ticket, and we provide real value. Okay. Now, let me talk about why those things are so important. First of all, why only high ticket? Number one, we need less volume to hit our revenue goals. Okay. So, like, if you are an entrepreneur, which you are, or a founder, and you have your own business, which you do, and you probably have done this because you have some big goals and you really want to achieve freedom and you want to achieve financial freedom and freedom for your family and all these things, and you have big goals. And guess what? It is easier to hit those big goals if you charge more for what you do, right? So, high ticket allows us to stay premium and makes it so we need less volume to hit our revenue targets. Number two, we can keep charging what we're actually worth. Super important, guys. Like, you need to be willing to charge and able to charge what your services or your program or your software, or whatever, is actually worth. And number three, also super important, it's not just a race to the bottom. And this is happening more and more with webinars where you have to sell. When you're selling in the webinar method, you have to say every word perfectly. The whole thing has to be scripted. You have to address every possible objection that anyone could have. Everything has to be like puzzled together in the most perfect way. And it makes it really hard, unless you're Alex Hormozi or Russell Brunson, to actually get results. And so if you've run a webinar and you've tried that, that's probably what happened if you didn't get the outcome you were hoping for, is that the pieces were not exact. And so people just didn't buy in that moment. And when you're doing it in the webinar method, everything has to be perfect like that. So why sell on a call? So I talked about, the workshop drives to an invitation, which then drives to a phone call. Again, super, super important here for this type of funnel that is high ticket. It preserves trust and integrity. And I'm going to talk about why this is the most important thing in the market today, is your trust and integrity, okay? It converts better, again, because you can have those one-on-one conversations where you can address their personal objections, talk about their personal situation, see if they're actually a fit for your offer, because maybe they're not, and webinars often get people to convert who aren't actually a fit. And it extends the sales cycle, which is important when we're trying to sell high ticket. And you don't have to try and predict objections like during the thing, right? Like, they can just talk about them with you on the call. And again, it makes it feel premium. We are not begging for the sale like a webinar does. We are inviting people to work with us. So we stay premium. Now, people often ask, what is high ticket? What do we mean by high ticket? And fair enough, like, high ticket is a very sort of obscure term. So let's get specific. Generally speaking, the numbers I see that work really well with workshops is $2,500 on the low end. Usually that's going to be like your physical fitness offers, maybe your, like B2C type of stuff, up to 25,000, which maybe that's like your done for you agency services. Okay. But that's the range generally that we play in that works really, really well. Now, what do we sell? To be honest with you, the only thing I can sort of think of, if you have an online business, that this doesn't work great for is e-commerce. So if you're in e-commerce, I apologize, probably not relevant to you today. If you have any of these other businesses, mastermind, coaching, software, agency services, info products like courses, memberships, services, professional services, like even if you're like a freelancer, these work really, really well with the workshop high ticket systems. And also super important and great news, you can choose to sell, and you can do both. And I'm actually a big advocate of like kind of having two offers here. You can sell one-to-one, so like your professional services, done for you type things, or you can sell one-to-many, right? Courses, programs, masterminds, coaching, things like that, group coaching, things like that. And it works for either type of offer. So just to give you an idea, I think it's good to like see the numbers, see how these things crank out. And I've run, dozens, if not hundreds of these workshops for myself and other people. And so just to give you an idea of how the numbers shake out. So on the left side, you can see how the math works out if we're at a $2,000 offer with 500 people registered. In the middle, we see a $5,000 offer with 500 registered. And on the right, we see a $10,000 offer. So the only things that change in these three columns is the price of the offer and the close rate, because of course the close rate goes down when you have a higher ticket offer. So on the 2K offer, you have 45% close rate. On a 10K offer, maybe you have a 25% close rate. So 1 in 4. Okay. So 2K offer, 500 registered, 40% show up. Again, these are the numbers I'm seeing over and over again. 15% of the people who showed up book a call. We have a 45% close rate on the call. That's $28,000 per workshop, right? 5K offer, boom, 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 same numbers, except the close rate's now 35%. We're at $55,000 per workshop. A $10,000 offer, 500 registered, 25% close rate now, and we're at $80,000 per workshop, okay? Now, what if we get 1,000 people registered? So with 1,000 people registered, 40% show up, 15, again, same numbers. $2,000 offer is now $54,000 a month. A $5,000 offer is now $105,000. And this is assuming you run one workshop per month, by the way. So it says per month, but this is per workshop. $5,000 offer now does 105. So now you can see we're hitting that over 100K plus marker from the workshops. $5,000 offer now does 105,000 plus per workshop, and $10,000 offer does 150,000 plus per workshop. Okay, so that's the math I'm seeing over and over again. It's not, and just showing you that to show you it's not a magic bullet. Like this is it's data. Like this is a mathematical funnel that works extremely effectively if you have a high ticket offer. So it's not a magic bullet. You do of course have to actually run a workshop. And what is beautiful about workshops is that they install natural conversion events every month, and you can run one every month. Now, let me answer just a few questions up front. So these are like really common things that you're probably thinking right now. If you are in one of these three things that you're probably thinking, if you're in one of these buckets. First is, what if I don't have a high ticket offer? Okay, most of you probably do on this call. That's great. If you don't, I would challenge you that you are not charging what you're worth. If you don't have an offer in the $2,000 to $20,000 range, what are you doing, right? You are stuck in a race you can't win. And you know this, and the only way to win is to sell high ticket and we talked about why that's important. Workshops are the mechanism for you to launch and sell your high ticket offer. What if you have a tiny audience? Hey, great news, so do I. I have no audience. Go look for me. Go look me up. It took me ages to rank #1 for my own name because there was some like musician dude that has my name that kept ranking above me, and I think I finally have it. But my point is, I've been the guy behind the guy for a decade. I don't have my own audience, and I'm doing these workshops to build my business. And I'm going to show you a ton of ways later on through ads and what I call referral systems to fill a workshop, even if you don't have your own audience. So stick around for that. And what if my business is already winning? Maybe you're here, maybe you're already running workshops or maybe you already have a funnel that's cranking and you're doing well and you're curious about these workshop systems and how they could fit in your business. You know, here's what I would say to you is that the biggest danger to a business that's crushing it is, of course, plateauing. And we've all seen these businesses that crush it, and at some point everything reverses and it starts this slow descent. And it's plateauing is the real risk. And what I love about workshops is that it installs these events every month that keep your foot on the gas. Because of course the temptation when you're winning is to rest on your laurels, think it's always going to be the same. And of course that's not true. And so workshops force us to keep our foot on the gas, keep delivering for our audience, and keep driving sales and new sales and conversions. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Ray, I see you have a question. I love it. What I'm going to ask of you guys is for your questions, there's a Q&A feature at the bottom. If you don't mind putting your questions in there because it saves them for me. And then what I will do is at the end, I will take as long as you guys want to answer a bunch of questions, okay? In terms of this, I have ADHD, so I get distracted easy. So I'm just going to rip if that's okay with you guys. So comment, let's go, if you guys want to learn how to install these workshops in your own business. Daniel said, let's go. Roger said, let's go. Take a quick drink of water. It's a little stuffy in my house. Michael said, let's go. All right. Okay, awesome. I am stoked. Let's do it. Okay, so stick around until the end. Deb said, let's go. Okay, stick around until the end because I'm going to give you my AI workshop builder for free. It's a custom GPT I built that'll help you come up with your topic and your headline and all these awesome details. So stick around. I'll give you that at the end. Okay, real quick. Why do workshops work so well? This is very important to understand. First, workshops give us, there's basically two reasons that workshops work so well. Then we're going to get into meat potatoes, but this is really important to understand. First, workshops give us high value events. High value, very key, high value. So people come and they feel like they're getting value through which to promote our offer, okay? So for example, for Matt Gray, we created 3 different workshops and he just cycled through them. One, every month. And so every quarter it would reset. So 1 was how to build a personal brand. 2 was how to create content. And 3 was how to generate leads. And these are all 3 different things, 3 different pain points that his audience had who would be a fit for his offer, but they were 3 different entry points for his audience, okay? Same offer on every single workshop was Founder OS, but the workshops themselves had a different pain point, had a different angle, and a different topic, okay? So second, they build trust. And this, I told you, this is going to be extremely key. I believe trust is the ultimate currency in today's market. So if we look at, this is a great example. If we look at the reason for opening an email, people are like, oh, subject line, preview text, like deliverability. The most important thing by far is the sender name, right? If your mom sends you an email with a subject line that is, it makes no sense, you would still open it because it's from your mom. And my point is that people want to, they open emails when they trust the person who sends them. Now let's look at why people buy, right? A brand I already know and trust. Like it's not even, I mean, look at that bar. It's not even, and then the other one is none of the above. It's the second highest. So like a brand I already know and trust, people want to buy from people that they trust. 81% of consumers need to trust a brand to consider buying from it. And so this is the problem that we run into with a lot of other types of funnels is they don't build authenticity and they don't build trust as easily as workshops. So VSL funnel, ads, sales pages, auto webinars, things like that. The truth is like I've seen mediocre offers crush when people trusted the founder. So buyers are more wary than ever before in today's market. The average American trusts less than half of what they see and read online. And there's two letters here that are very important for this story. Trust in the internet hasn't just declined, it's collapsed under an avalanche of AI generated noise. Guys, I am seeing videos every day that I don't know if they're real or fake, right? Like every day I'm when I scroll on social media, I'm seeing AI generated stuff. I don't know if it's real or fake. People are doing user generated AI content now. There's all this stuff happening, and I'm not against those things, but I do believe that people's default today is to not trust, right? And if you don't have trust, selling will always be hard. And if you have trust, selling will always be easy. So trust is the linchpin. And I believe workshops are the cheat code to building trust fast. Why? Because they are real, they are personal, they are authentic, they are based in time and space. You are here with me, you are commenting in the chat. I am really here. I'm calling out your names, Anita, Deb. I can say all your guys' names because I am not AI generated. I am real. I am a real human who's hanging out here with you. And they deliver massive value. They deliver real value. I think also very important, they require you to show up for your audience, not just your audience to show up for you. Whereas all those other funnels just require your audience to show up. They don't require you to show up, right? And I think it's important in today's market to show up for your audience. And they don't beg for the sale, right? They don't beg for the sale, they invite. So here's the point. I believe if you master workshops, you'll have full control over your income and the opportunities that your business generates every single month. So is that worth 60 minutes of your time today? If it is, we'll get into the meat potatoes. Tell me in the chat if that sounds like it is. Daniel said yes. Roger said yes. Barbara, yes. Anita, all right. Ruth, Mark, Ruth. I said Ruth again. Unless there's two Ruths. Deb, yes. All right. Manya, sorry if I'm mispronouncing these. Ray Levesque. Okay, great, guys. Okay, I'm going to rip. I'm going to respect your time. I'm going to go fast, but I'm going to try to be clear. All right, so let's do this. There's three things you're going to need, okay? Three things. Number one, your workshop topic, okay? You're going to need to know what you're going to talk about on the workshop. I'm going to show you how to do that. Number two, a workshop ready offer. So we got to refine your offer so it'll actually sell on your workshop at the end, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that. And three, we need eyeballs. We need people to come to thine workshop, your target market, and hang out for an hour and then pay you money a little bit later once they book a call and then apply and all that stuff, okay? So that's what we need. Here's where it all starts. A system. It starts with a system. What do I mean? Every great workshop teaches a system. Now, system, the word system is a very B2B word. So you might think of like B2B things, but it is not exclusive what I am talking about. It is not exclusive to B2B. This works in fitness. It works in dieting. I don't know why I'm only thinking about fitness related things, but B2C things as well, dog training, whatever. It works in any B2C and B2B. So to give you some examples, and these are, by the way, these are real examples. These four here are real examples of people I've worked with to help them come up with their system. So number one is my luck-free deal system. That's from Ryan Dawsey. His real estate investing, he taught this on one of his workshops. So the idea being you can generate deals as a real estate investor without luck. You don't need luck. You just, have this system. The Idea Heist by John Malecki. I'll introduce you to him a little bit later. You might know who he is. He's in woodworking. So the Idea Heist is for YouTubers. It's a system for YouTubers to be able to generate ideas for their videos that go viral. Okay, so we called it the Idea Heist. Hacking the American Dream, another one from Ryan Dawsey for teaching homebuyers how to hack the American Dream and save on their home. Okay, so you can see how all these systems, and wealth stacking is from Mark Moss for stacking layering your wealth and making more money. So you can see kind of how these systems have names that are unique. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So the system, your system, is the path that takes your target market, your buyer or your dream customer from where they are now, and I'm going to show you a graph of here, so get your screenshot ready a little bit later, from where they are now to where they want to be. That's all it is. That's your system, from where they are now to where you want to be, right? So I'm running this workshop with you right now. It's called 100K Workshops. That's the name of my system. I'm taking you from, all these pain points of like not having enough leads, not making enough sales every month, to running workshops and making a bunch of money, right? So the system is from this to this. It's the steps, okay? And you don't necessarily, this is another like misnomer, you don't need to call it a system, right? We don't actually need to say that word. That's just the word I'm using. It could be a roadmap, a guide, a plan, a method, a mechanism, a philosophy, a mindset, a GPS, whatever you want to call it. But I'm just calling it umbrella term, a system. Now, maybe you already have a system. Fantastic. But if not, here's how you come up with it. Super easy, super simple. Just think of one person you've helped. Okay, could be probably it's going to be a customer that you've helped get a great result, and the outcome that person achieved. Okay, what is the outcome that person achieved? For example, they lost 30 pounds. Again, fitness. They got 100 leads per month. They saved 10 hours per week. They made $100,000 per workshop, right? They doubled their income, whatever. Okay, what is the outcome that they achieved? Then look at the steps you help them take to achieve that outcome, to get from point A to point F. What were the steps they took to achieve that outcome? And that's your system. So this is the graph, right? So point A is where they're at now, pain, suffering, desire. And point E is where they want to go. They want to achieve this goal, lose 30 pounds, make $100,000 a month, grow a badass coaching business, whatever. And point B, C, D, that's your system. Those are the steps. Those are the things along the way, and you take them from point A to point E via point B, C, and D. Okay? So that is how to create and think about your system. Now, another important thing to note here when you are coming up with your system and the name of your system, it needs to be something that your target market or target client has never heard of before. Okay? It needs to feel unique. Like they've never tried it before. It's something new and fresh and exciting, right? You've never heard of $100,000 workshops. That's interesting. What is that, right? Now, here's the thing. I know you're probably thinking like, oh, but my system isn't that unique. Like a lot of people do this. A lot of people teach this. Right? Okay, doesn't matter. Let me give you an example. My buddy Jacob, great friend of mine, really, really good, really talented at SEO. If you can be talented at that, he is. He was born for it. He created a system called his top system for ranking in Google, right? TOP, right? Now, you hear that and you're like, ooh, what's the top system? That's interesting. Maybe I should use that to rank in Google. I've never used the top system before. Of course you haven't, because he created it. Nobody's used it because he created it, right? So when you create it, nobody's heard of it. But here's what's interesting. The top system stands for time on page. Okay. Now, anybody in SEO can tell you that time on page is one of the most important ranking factors. In fact, if you're in SEO right now, you're probably rolling your eyes because everybody knows that time on page is one of the most important ranking factors for SEO, right? But he kind of veiled it behind this name of this system. So your system itself doesn't need to be thrillingly unique. We just need to make it feel fresh and interesting and unique. Okay. So give your system a name. Don't overthink it. Maybe you already have one. And by the way, ChatGPT is fantastic for brainstorming a system name. Now, one other very important thing to address here is your system is probably a piece of your core offer, or it is like the core offer, right? Like, for example, 100K Workshops is like what I'm teaching you is my program as well, right? Which we'll learn about a little bit more about later. But how do you justify this idea of like, how do you teach the thing without giving it away for free, right? So, for example, when I was working with Matt, I already told you this, we had 3 different workshops that kind of fit into his offer. And because of that, you're probably thinking like, how do I teach the system without giving everything away for free that I actually would like to charge for? So here's what you need to remember. People stay for information, but they pay for installation. So think about it this way. This is the best example I could think of. Most people and by most people, I mean everyone, already knows what they need to do to lose weight. There is zero mystery around the process, right? It is less food in the mouth and more movement, like, and track your calories. Like there is no mystery. It is thermodynamics. It is all on YouTube. There is no shortage of information on how to lose weight, how to get fit, how to get a six pack abs. It's all out there. Okay, all the information. There is not an iota of new information that can be taught about fitness, right? It is virtually done. It is saturated. But so theoretically, right, if we were all perfectly logical humans, nobody, if we were like aliens that didn't have emotions, nobody would pay for anything for physical fitness because we already know how to do it. Why would we pay for anything? And yet, of course, we do, right? We pay for I have a personal trainer. We pay for personal trainers. We pay for dieting plans. We get a membership. We pay for Ozempic. We get a membership to an online training program. All these things, right? Why do we do that? Really important question. Why do we do that? And the answer is quite simple. First of all, we're emotional humans. And second of all, these are the reasons, three reasons. We are paying for faster results, right? So I don't want to take 6 months to lose the weight. I want to lose it in 3 months. Better results, which is like, I don't want to just lose 20 pounds. I want to get a six pack. I want to get ripped for the beach this summer. And more certain results, right? And this is a big one in the fitness industry specifically. I could go do this on my own, but I don't trust myself. I'm nervous. I'm not going to do it. I want the certainty of a personal coach or somebody keeping me accountable, something like that. So the point is, on the workshop, you're teaching the system and your offer, and we're going to talk more about this later, the 1-2 punch method, your offer is about installation. So here's a formula for your workshop topic. If you have your system, you know your target market. At the end, the GPT will help you work through this. But free live workshop for target market, who pain point, right? So target market, who has a pain point, how to specific result using my system name. Super simple, right? Super simple. For coaches, and by the way, why do we use how to? How to, how I always use these for headlines. The reason is I've ran tons of subject line tests. The biggest open rates are how I and how to. Start with those. So we always use those in our headlines. For coaches, these are examples. For coaches who feel invisible online. By the way, take a screenshot of this if you'd like. This is kind of the format you can use. Okay? Leave it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. For coaches who feel invisible online, how to book 10 sales calls in the next 14 days using my client magnet framework, right? So how to using system. For target market who feel invisible, right? For busy professionals who are tired of dieting with no results, how to lose 15 pounds in 60 days using my system, 3-phase fat loss system. For business owners who are posting videos but not getting leads, right? So pain point, how to turn YouTube into a 24/7 client machine using my authority engine. So, okay, gives you an idea of what you teach during the workshop. You teach a system, and it gives you an idea for your workshop topic and how to structure that. Now, again, it's important to know, you can have multiple different workshops. You don't have to do one and be done. You can have multiple workshops with multiple different topics, and you very likely will. And that will be determined by the pain points of your target market. Now, the next question is, how do you get your offer workshop ready? Because, of course, we can have an incredible workshop. We can host an incredible, insanely high-value workshop, and at the end, absolutely botch the offer and nobody books a call or buys or anything, right? So we need to get our offer refined so that it is ready to be promoted via a workshop funnel. So here's the key, 3 keys actually. Every great workshop offer needs these 3 components. I'll walk through each one. It feels relevant is number 1. So it feels relevant. What does that mean? It means your offer should feel totally relevant to your workshop, right? So you shouldn't have a workshop about playing tennis and then try to sell basketball shoes, right? We need complete coherence and relevance between the workshop topic and the offer. And your offer should solve the new problem that your workshop created. So let's talk about that. I call this my 1-2 punch method. Your offer at the end of your workshop needs to solve the new problem that your workshop creates. So let's look at some examples of what I mean. Solve the new problem with your offer. You know how to grow your YouTube channel because I just taught you during the workshop, but maybe you want more direct support and coaching. Okay, new problem. You now have my entire system for growing on LinkedIn, but what if my team just installed these systems for you? And those are 2 examples. Let's look at some more. So on the left side, you can see we're teaching systems. We're always teaching systems. during a workshop. And there's a lot of ways we can transition that into our offer. So we might teach systems and then, hey, like I just taught you all this stuff, but what if I just installed this for you? Like, oh, that would say, people are going to be, that's a big one, right? People want done for you. They're like, I don't have time to install all of this. What if we just did it for you? You teach the systems, and then what if I personally, and this is more of the certainty of results, what if I personally coached you while you implemented this, right? What if you had access, direct access to me? Okay, teach a system. What if I, this is like give you all the templates and scripts. So I gave you one piece of the puzzle, but what if I gave you all the templates and tools and scripts to make this 10 times easier? So this is like easier and faster results. Teach the system. What if I gave you all my other systems, right? A lot of times in a workshop, if you have a pretty large offer like we did at Founder OS, you'll teach one piece of it, and then you have all these other pieces that are important, and then you offer that for your offer. Teach a system. What if you didn't have to do this alone, and you got to join a community that wants to see you win, right? So you can see how we transition. Teach a system. Get my software that makes this super easy, right? I just taught you how to do it, but you don't want to do it. What if you just had software that did it for you? Okay. So that's how we transition to the offer. Now, another piece that is super important. I always hammer on this. It's absolutely critical. People ignore me and they regret it. So it has to feel urgent. Humans, I don't know if you know this, but humans are procrastinators. Humans will not often do things unless there is a reason to. Let me rephrase that. Humans often will not do things right now unless there is a reason to do them right now. Okay, and we do this to our detriment all the time, where we just don't act on something we really should act on, but we don't do it because the timing doesn't feel right or whatever. And so, the part of the workshop funnel is getting people to act right now, and so we need urgency. And so the offer you make on your workshop needs an end date when it stops being available. And if you have an offer that is evergreen, it's very easy to add this. All you have to do is add some urgency, add a little discount, add a bonus that makes this offer special in the workshop ecosystem so that you can still sell it with urgency, right? Now, my way, there's other ways to do it. You can open and close enrollment. You can have people do live cohorts where they'll do a live cohort starting as like really natural urgency. A lot of different ways to do this, but it's very important to do it. So again, different methods here: special offer urgency, limited enrollment, limited spots available for scarcity. And spoiler alert, right here, you're on a workshop. My invitation at the end, there's going to be urgency, right? Because I do what I teach, right? And also, it has to feel premium. It has to feel premium. This is what's special about workshops. It's not a battle to the bottom like webinars. You teach, provide massive value, and then you position yourself as a high value solution. So, and this is another good slide to screenshot. In terms of your workshop flow, okay, when you're actually presenting, people like, what do I say? When do I say it? This is the high level flow you should follow. The story of how you created your system, I did this at the beginning, you witnessed it. So you have the story behind your system, then you have the system itself, okay? So you teach the system, then that creates the new problem about faster results, more certain results, easier results, okay? You introduce the new problem that has been created, and then you invite people to your offer, okay? So that is the high level flow. Now, of course, you need eyeballs. We cannot run a workshop only on our own. And there is nothing worse than running a workshop and nobody shows up. This is what will give you cold sweats. This is my nightmare, right? So here's how you can flood your workshop with registrants, even if you have a small audience. If you have a large audience, this will be very easy, but I'm still going to show you what I do. Either way. So your audience, first of all, if you have a small audience, if you have a big audience, it doesn't matter. You need to promote to your audience, okay? 2 to 3 hand raisers on LinkedIn. I'll show you a few examples. A CTA in your YouTube videos. I'll show you some examples of that if you're on YouTube, and posting on all your other socials before you run it, right? Like go register. So posting all over the place for your audience. These are some examples. Kyle Van Voris here on the left. Yeah, these are his LinkedIn hand raisers. We don't put the link in the post because it kills the algorithm. We just say comment yes below. People comment and it goes like mini viral because it's getting a lot of engagement. The algorithm loves it. So comment yes below. I'll send you the link to register. It's free. This is a very effective method. And then Mark Moss, he's on YouTube, so he's always putting his CTA with a QR code about 2/3 of the way through his videos, about a week before the workshop airs. So we're always promoting, usually with a 7 to 10 day window. These workshops is key. That's close enough that people will show up, but it's not. But it's also like far out enough, you have time to promote it. So also your audience, if you have an email list, you need to email them and promote it to your email list. So 5 to 7 emails, short and direct, mixed with high value indoctrination. So direct emails example is, hey friend, last reminder, I'm running a free workshop, right? Very simple. I'm breaking down the exact strategy. This is from Ryan Dossi, by the way. I'm using right now to close high margin deals and scale without the stress. So save your spot. I'll send you the link when we kick off. See you there, Ryan. Another example of this is a bit more long form, more indoctrination, pushing on pain points. Hey, before I say yes to this any deal this year, sorry, I got to move my. It has to pass one test. Will this make me money without wrecking my sanity? Blah blah blah. So he has stuff there, pushing on pain points, addressing main objections. So this is a very important part as well. And then, and this is a great strategy that I want to show you guys, is also promoting it to other people's audiences. And this is absolutely critical if you don't have your own audience. Find people who, you don't want direct competitors. If you're like a freaking fitness coach, you don't want to ask another fitness coach to promote your workshop. You want like a dieting coach or something to promote it. It's like you want someone who's perpendicular, but not exactly the same as your offer, someone who has a similar audience but a different offer. And you reach out to these people, you say, hey, I'm running a free live workshop on this day, going to be insane value, driving to my offer on the back end. I'm paying out 10%, 15, 20, whatever percent you want to choose, to a few refers to share the live workshop with their audience. Thought you might be interested, want me to get you set up. And all you have to do on this is pay. If their audience comes and any of those people buy, you then give the referrer a cut of what you made. So you don't have to pay anything up front. For my very first workshop that I ran, again, I don't have an audience. For my very first workshop, I got 100 people signed up only using this strategy and no other strategy by getting some friends who had small audiences to help me promote it. Highly recommend doing this. Frankly, if you have an audience or not, this is a great strategy to use. And when you're doing this, bonus tip here is make it as easy as possible for your referrers. Give them a unique link, give them emails to promote it. Make it stupid simple so they just copy paste everything. They shouldn't have to do any work. The more work they have to do, the less likely they are to do it. And again, you can literally fill your workshop with only referrals. That's what I did with my very first workshop. So other ways you can fill workshops, and I'm doing these as well, meta ads. Some of you guys may have come through some advertisements. Meta ads, this is an example of an ad that I run. I'm getting anywhere from $8 to $12 per lead on Meta. Newsletter sponsors is another great one because you don't have to worry about the targeting or like crazy creatives or anything or optimizing per click. You can just find a newsletter that serves your target market and pay to be sponsored in them, and it's usually quite affordable. And then DMs, just straight up DMing people. If you don't have an audience, you need to be willing to do the work, right? So getting out there, DMing people, asking them to promote it, all these things. Okay, so does that make sense? I know I've been going fast here. I want to pause for just a second. Again, with your guys' questions, I know you guys have some questions. Please pop those in the Q&A feature at the bottom of the Zoom panel. There's a Q&A thing. Just put it in there because it'll save. I'll try to scroll through at the end here. But those are all the core pieces you need to run your own workshop. Now, I want to back up. I want to pause, okay, because I'm a little sweaty. And I want to ask you a question. You have all the things you need. You have your system and topic. You have your high-level workshop flow and your promotional game flow plan. But let me ask you, just now that you kind of understand what workshops are, you understand what they've done for me, for all these other founders, I'm going to introduce you to some other founders here in a minute. What would it mean for you to actually run your first or next workshop in the next 28 days? And how different, and just tell me in the chat, let's take a second here. How different, ballpark, it doesn't have to be exact. What do you think would happen to your business if you did that for 12 months? If for the next 12 months, every month you ran a workshop to generate leads, get clients, get customers, whatever, what do you think would happen to your business if you did this? Just tell me in the chat and I'll take a drink of water. What do you guys think? What would happen to your business in the next 12 months? If done right, boom. I love this idea. Yep, indeed. If done right, boom. MRR and ARR up and scaling, I'm sure growth, 100%. It would blow up, increase in revenue. You'd have a mountain of leads. You'd have a mountain of leads. Your revenue would be consistent. You would have an event every month to generate revenue. There wouldn't be mystery behind how you're going to get money every month or get clients, right? That's the power and beauty of workshops, is they create that predictability and that ruthlessness in achieving your dreams. So here's a few things I think it would mean for you. And this has happened for me. It's happened for other founders. Is creating your own conversion events every month, right? And I'm going to talk more about like, don't wait for these things to come to you. 1,000 more leads for your business. Literally, like if you're doing it for 12 months, right? Thousands of leads, thousands. I had 0 people on my email list when I started. I now have 2,000 people on my email list. Okay. It's crazy how impactful this process is. No more depending on referrals or word of mouth. I'm going to talk about this more in a second. And keep winning and building momentum. So I want to just take a second to tell you guys what I kind of realized the hard way. Again, I told you I've been doing this a decade. I've done a lot of different things, and I spent literally years posting content, asking people for referrals. That's a big one, right? DMing people when I was in need. The well went dry. I needed I needed clients. Asking for referrals, trusting in sheer dumb luck to grow my business, right? Um, it's a difficult position to be in. And I realized it took me, and by the way, I didn't realize this overnight. This took a long time. I'm a slow learner, guys. I realized very slowly that opportunity is only created 2 ways. And the first one is through luck. The first way that opportunity is created is through luck. And here's the thing, it feels good to be lucky. Like it feels like maybe you're special. It feels like the universe is in your favor, but then it feels really bad when that luck isn't there. And it feels like everything's falling apart. It feels like you don't know what to do. You don't have a system in place. You waited too long to dig your well before you were thirsty, all these things. And luck is like word of mouth, referrals, random responses to content. And I lived on that for a long time. The problem is you really have no control over when these things happen, right? No control. Now, the second path is through leverage. And instead of waiting for luck and these opportunities to come to you, you create natural conversion events. You become the cause of opportunity in your business instead of waiting for opportunity to approach. And you give people a reason to buy right now instead of waiting for when they think the timing is right. Okay. You are the reason, you become the reason through leverage. You become the reason that your business has opportunity, and you become the reason that your business grows and that you get the lifestyle and freedom that you want. So, real quick in the chat, tell me if you would rather grow your business through luck or through leverage. And I'll take a drink of my water here while you guys do that. Anita said leverage. Yep, me too. Barbara said leverage. Daniel did the shorthand, Lev. Yep. Yeah, of course. Leverage. Like L, Michael just put an L. Leverage. Keisha said leverage all day. Yeah, leverage. And this is the epiphany I had is you have to lean in. You don't want to lean out. Yeah, you have to lean in. So I believe workshops are the best system in the world for creating leverage to a high ticket offer. And I want to ask you guys, what if I could make running these workshops 10 times easier, 10 times more effective, and 10 times faster with none of the guesswork and all the little nuances and difficult things that feel like are going to trip you up? So just to give you some examples, some of like the most common things that I see people run into is they don't know what to say or when to say it, right? Which it's not as important as a webinar, that's for sure. But it's still important to have the correct general flow and put things in the right place. Or there's a weak post-workshop funnel, right? That's where all your sales are coming in, is like after the workshop. That's where people book calls and want to learn more about your offer and end up buying. And if that's weak, that's no good. They get a lot of registrations, but not many people show up, so that's tough. Or the promotional efforts aren't as good as the workshop itself, right? So let's just take a second. Tell me in the chat, where do you guys think, after kind of understanding, how the workshops work, where you might get stuck if you were to start running them, right? Like what do you think maybe the bottleneck would be for you? Post-workshop funnel, Marine said, absolutely. Yep. Deb said the last one, so the promotional efforts aren't as good as the workshop itself, for sure. That's a huge one. Yep. Steven said the first one, don't know what to say or when to say it. Yeah, absolutely. Especially for your like first few workshops, you kind of feel like you're not sure where to start. Yep. Workshop being different than content that you sell. Yeah, man, that's so true. Because if you don't have that alignment between the workshop and the offer, it stumbles. Manya said the first one. Yep. Cool. So obviously, like you guys have kind of this high level picture of how this works, but there's all these details and nuances that are obviously, of course, really important. So, what if I could give you the GPS, just hand it to you to running your first workshop and with direct access to me throughout the entire process? Right now, I'm running $100,000 workshops every single month, multiple times a month for a bunch of amazing founders, helping them build their mini empires. And normally, it would cost $25,000 to have me install these workshop systems for you. But I have good news. The truth is, you don't need that. What I've learned after running dozens and dozens of these is that every winning workshop follows the same 20% of actions that generates 80% of revenue, and those actions are repeatable. You don't need me, you need the proven systems. So that's why I created $100,000 workshops. Let me take just a second here. Can you guys give me permission if you're interested in hearing about my new offer that I've created? Just tell me in the chat. Yep, let's hear it. Whatever you want to say. Yes, go ahead, Mike. Something like that. I want to make sure you guys. Okay, Roger said yes. Keisha said very interested. Manya said yes. Got 5 minutes, Michael. All right, I'm going to try to rip. Barbara said yes. Liz said please share, Anita. Okay, so let's do it, guys. I appreciate that. Let's get into it. So this is my program that removes the guesswork, gives you all of my systems, and provides ongoing community and coaching, all with a single relentless goal to help you install workshops and hit $100,000 per workshop. So what's inside? It's everything you need to launch and scale workshops without the guesswork. So there's sort of 4 pillars that I put things into to simplify it, because there's a lot inside. But pillar number 1 is the systems that convert. So that includes the perfect workshop flow. Some of you guys were talking about like what to say, when to say it. So that's what that is. Your perfect workshop flow. The done for you email, social, and ad scripts. So all your emails, all your social posts, all your ads, you have the exact script formats, and you can actually see exactly what I'm doing and then rip from me and adapt it to your own offer. The simple ad systems that I'm using to get my registrants for anywhere from $5 to $12, and post workshop follow-up framework. So how do you actually sell people after the workshop runs and keep that momentum? Pillar 2 is the plug and play tool. So this is we built registration pages for you. So that's all built. You have the templates, you just plug and play. We have designed slides, so you don't need a designer for your slides. You just go change the text. We have checkout templates for your offer, so you can just put your offer in your checkout page. We have my exact 3-tool tech stack, which is low cost, simple. I'm not tech savvy. I'm terrible with tech. So this is very simple tech stack. And then my custom GPTs trained on over 100,000 words of my copy for everything, for your slides, for your registration page, for your headline, for your emails, for your social posts, literally everything you need. Pillar 3 is coaching and community. Listen, guys, I'm frankly not a huge believer in offers that don't, and again, like I respect offers that don't have this, but I'm a big believer in offers that have coaching and community. I think if I give this to you and you're on an island, it's still going to be very difficult because there's all these nuances and things and questions and stuff like that. So this includes bi-weekly group calls with me. We all hop on a call. There's about 16 of us in there, or 17 of us in there right now. We all hop on a call. We jam. There's questions. We share the screen, all that stuff. You get 24/7 access to the private community where I will answer your questions within 24 hours, and other people in the community will chime in. Excuse me. And you get accountability with other workshop builders. So you're not building alone. You're doing it in a community. This is just a fun screenshot I wanted to show you guys. Whenever someone has a workshop coming up, we put it on the calendar with a flame emoji in the community so people can see what's coming up and even attend to see how people are doing it. Pillar 4 is the growth engine. So my one-to-many high-ticket offer builder. So again, refining the offer is super important. So the first step, and I'll talk about this in a second, is refining your offer. So I have my one-to-many high-ticket offer builder, my one-to-one high-ticket offer builder. So if you don't have an offer or you want to refine your offer, that's what that's going to help you with. My referral system for influencer partners, getting people to promote your offer, your workshop for you. And then my proven sales call process and script, what I do on the sales call, all that process as well. Plus a one-on-one session with me directly for every workshop that you run. And as a bonus for this round specifically, $400,000 workshops, my team will build your first workshop funnel for you, which takes a ton of the heavy lifting off getting that first workshop out the door. So You're not just getting templates or a course, you're getting the systems, the tools, the support, and the growth engine that makes $100,000 workshops profitable. Now, I want to be honest here. You might not hit $100,000 with your first workshop, and that's okay. Most people don't. But what does happen is you install a repeatable system for generating new leads and revenue every month. And that first workshop might bring in 5K, 10K, maybe 20K, maybe even 40K. The second one gets bigger, and the third one gets bigger, and the fourth one gets bigger, and eventually you're hitting that $100,000 mark. It's not just possible, but it's predictable. So again, I told you guys I wanted to tell you a quick story about Ryan Dawsey, my friend. He's a very good friend of mine. I'd known him for like a decade. Love this guy to death. He just had a new baby. He's amazing. So he's in the real estate, and he has a real estate investing mastermind called Create Cash Flow, CCF. And it had slowed to a trickle. He was in a tough place, and his mastermind was not at the same level it used to be. And he tried webinars in the past, and they didn't really work with his high ticket offer. His mastermind signups had slowed to a trickle. His content wasn't really connecting with people in the same way it used to. He had a pretty small audience, maybe like 5,000 people on his email list and 15,000 YouTube subs. And he needed cash flow fast. He was in a bit of a bind. So I was texting him and I told him about my workshops and my workshop systems, and I gave him the same exact playbook you will get inside of $100,000 workshops. He implemented that, and here's what happened. After running workshops, he generated $40,000 with his 10K offer on his first workshop just 4 weeks later. Then $120,000 on his second workshop with his $20,000 offer. He's now running workshops every single month. His audience loves them, and it's became the main driver of leads and sales for his business. And I have tons of these stories. Dr. Ali Chowdhury, $25,000 with his first workshop. He has a very niche offer for EM docs called Locum OS, and it's a $5,000 offer. John Malecki, $60,000 with his first workshop. If you're in woodworking, you know John Malecki. He's a big woodworker on YouTube, and he has this offer for his YouTube mastermind that's $2,000 to $10,000 depending on the package you choose. And his first workshop, he did $60,000. So here's what happens if you do decide when you join $100,000 workshops. The step one is we refine your one-to-many or one-to-one high-ticket offer. Again, that's ground zero. We have to get that right. Step two, so if you have an offer, we're going to refine it. And if you don't have an offer, we're going to create it, right? Step two, we build your first workshop funnel for you. You submit some stuff. I coach you through the topic, all these things, and then we build that funnel for you, okay? Huge. Step three, you run your first workshop in as little as 4 weeks. Now, if you've stuck with me this far, you are probably thinking, this sounds great, but Mike, what's the catch? The truth is this is not for everyone. The strategies I've shown you work. They've generated literally millions in sales. And why didn't you name it 1 million workshops? Exactly. They've generated literally millions in sales through workshops, but they only work if you are ready to take action. So here's what that means. Okay. These are the people I want to work with. You have an offer or service you can sell for over $2,000. Very important. We don't sell low ticket. 2, you have at least a small audience and you're not new to the internet, right? Like we're present. We're available online. Number 3, you want a system for generating new leads and revenue. And number 4, you are ready and hungry to take action and grow, okay? If you think that you would be a fit, the next step is simple. I'm going to put a link in the chat. Just go to that link. It's going to ask you a few questions, and then you're going to book a call directly with me, okay? Right on my calendar. On that call, we will see if workshops make sense for your business. We will map out what your first or next workshop could look like, see if it makes sense. And if it's a fit, I'll show you how I can help. I'll show you how to get set up, okay? But here's the thing, and this is truthful. This is not a lie. Applications close Friday, October 24th, okay? So that's this Friday. You have a few days. You have a 3-day window to book a call with me and chat through this and see if it's a fit. The reason for this is very simple. There's always a big influx of people, and then I'm very busy. I'm very busy on fulfillment, okay? And so the reason for this is that I'm just too busy to keep enrollment open, so I have to close it, and then I'll open it, I don't know when, at some point in the future. So if you're interested, make sure to grab a spot before they are gone. And just to give you an idea of who's in here, I think it's helpful to see like who's in the actual program and what they're doing. So these are a few faces that are now good friends of mine that are in the program. We have Simon. He has a live his workshop's actually today, which is crazy. I can't wait to see how it goes. So he has a live cohort coaching offer. He just launched brand new, helping founders get clarity and scale. He had an agency and now he's trying to pivot to a one-to-many coaching offer. Stephanie Wilson left her job to start helping nonprofits get government funding. So she has an amazing offer around that. Brett Martin has an offer helping law firms scale to 10 million and beyond. Eleanor Taylor also has her workshop today. It's like a big day in 100K workshops land. Coaching offer helping corporate women reclaim 10 plus hours a week. Christine has an offer helping industrial businesses install services. Andres has an offer helping SaaS businesses install internal hiring systems. Stefano is running workshops for his Amazon seller advertising agency. Mark is running workshops for his coaching business, helping tech leaders, and David has an offer helping managers and business leaders scale their people systems. So we got a lot of different people doing amazing things in here, and it's very exciting. So if you're ready to install workshops in your business and scale fast, go to the link in the chat. I'll put it in there again and apply and book your call before Friday because that's when everything closes down for enrollment. Okay? I'm going to get a drink of water. Please hit me with questions. And I probably have some already that I need to attend to. You're welcome, Michael. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So, what questions do we have, guys? Ask me anything. I'm going to look at the Q&A here. I have a 25K offer. Will that still work? Ray, if you're still on here, absolutely. I think that's a fantastic price point is $25,000. We have multiple people in the program. Like I said, the 2,500 to 25K absolutely works. So, yes, Ray, that will work. Marine, do you need a sales call if you're selling a 3K offer? It's a good question. If it's a 3K offer, there's a possibility to sell it on the workshop or through an offer doc or something like that to extend the sales cycle a little bit, keep the high integrity of the workshop. But it's something we occasionally do push like an offer doc if it's a lower ticket offer. You said no offers and then you made an offer, not complaining, just curious if we make an offer or not. Yeah, so you do make an offer, but you can't buy. Like there's no link for you to buy right now. That's what I meant. But of course, we still make offers on the workshop. Otherwise, what's the point, right? I'm going to start out. Would it be helpful to me, Mike? Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of beginners in the program. Daniel said, okay, thanks. Ray said, I'm sorry I couldn't stay. Is this recorded? It seems to fit really well with the type of work we do. Having built a multi-generational. Okay. You're welcome, Manya. Who are you running workshops for, please? I didn't see it was too fast. It'll be recorded, so I'll send you the recording as well. All right. What other questions do you guys have? You're welcome, R. You're welcome, guys. Go book a call on my calendar and we'll chat and see if it's a fit. I'll put the link here again. Let's see, and then... You're welcome, Brennan. Absolutely. I still don't understand the difference between workshops and webinars. Velvet. So you're welcome, Liz. Absolutely. Velvet. The difference is the biggest difference is that we sell high ticket through workshops and webinars are low ticket. If you missed the beginning, that's where I kind of covered that. Would you be able to show the slide of the people you've helped again? You kind of rushed past it. Appreciate you, good sir. Yes, actually, I'll send an email. I'll send an email with some of those details of who I've helped. If you're talking about these people, these are the people in the program. So I can show you these again. Simon, Stephanie, Brett. Ba, da, da. What other questions do you guys have? I'll hang out for a little bit. I got time. You guys have some questions? I think I got all the questions covered in the Q&A section. Missed the first half. Is this recorded? Hey, Sue. Yes, there will be a replay coming in a couple hours. You are welcome. Marine said, what affiliate or referral software do you recommend? I don't use any software. I just track with the UTM and we use Go High Level. And then when people buy, I just go look back at how many came through, but you certainly could use. You said you would give, oh yeah, the AI. Thank you for the reminder. Here it is. Thank you for the reminder, Daniel. Appreciate that. Was there a checklist? Yes. Let me get that checklist. One moment. You're welcome, Daniel. All right, let's see. We're doing the checklist. All right, there's the checklist if you guys want that as well. You're welcome, Melissa. Absolutely. Go book a call, guys, if you'd like to chat. I'll put the link in again and see if my program is a fit for you. I think I answered the questions here. All right, I'll stay. There's still some people in here. What questions you guys got for me? What are you thinking about? All right, looks like Anita booked a call. Excited to chat with you, Anita. Simon, awesome. Good deal. Have you helped Eileen by any chance? Eileen. I don't know who Eileen is. You might have to give me a bit more context. Eileen Wilder. Uh, no, I haven't. Isn't that like a really famous Oh, okay, Eileen Wilder. I haven't worked with her, but she looks like a badass. Dun, 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 dun. She uses the same system. Oh my God, she's a thief. No, I'm just kidding. That's cool. It's a free market. No hard feelings. I'm gonna turn my fan on a little bit here. All right, what questions you guys got? I'll stick on a couple more minutes in case there's any stragglers with other questions. Looks like Manya booked a call. Awesome, looking forward to it. If you're still on here, it'll be fun to chat. It looks like, yeah, Manya. Any other questions, guys, here? I always try to be the last one going down with the ship. So I try to be the last person on here, which is difficult because a lot of people hang out. So, if you guys are still around, ask me a question. Ask me a question or leave. What do you guys got? Come on, I'm booked. Brennan, awesome. Looking forward to talking with you. Going to be a blast. Bum 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 bum. Hang out a few more minutes. I'm just going to talk about my day. Today was not leg day. Today was chest day, which was good cuz I hate leg day. Anybody have leg day today? Let me know in the chat. Any more questions, guys, about the workshops? I think I got to everybody's question. I feel like I probably missed some. If I missed some, just copy paste your question again for me and I'll get to it because I feel like I missed some. They were coming hot and fast for a few minutes there. Brennan, are you still here, Brennan? I'm looking. I don't know if I saw yours come through. I just want to confirm you did get booked. Are you still in here? Let me know if you are. Oh, no, it came through. Never mind. Sorry. Sorry for the confusion. It's there now. Just took a second. There's like a delay. Cool. So Brennan booked. Awesome. Look forward to chatting. Any other questions, guys? We still got like a few dozen people in here, so don't be shy. If you're sitting there thinking, man, workshops are going to change my life, but I don't know XYZ, then ask me. I'll answer your questions. Da-na-na-na-na-na. What audience size do you need before focusing on workshops? Good question, Melissa. So again, I started with zero audience. I don't know if you saw that part of the workshop today, but I have no audience, so I would say zero. What you do need is hustle. If you don't have an audience, you're gonna have to replace that with hustle. Refers, so reaching out to people to help you promote it. So people, friends, colleagues, things like that who are in your niche, and ads. So there's three things: there's newsletter sponsorships, meta ads, and I teach all those systems in there. But you don't need a lot of the people actually in the program. Some of them have an audience. There's a few in there, like 15 to 20,000 people in terms of their audience size. But there's a lot of people in there who don't have an audience, and they're just relying on the other systems. You're welcome. You are welcome. You're welcome, Debbie. Still some people in here. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions here? Bum 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 bum. What do you guys got? You're still hanging out. Maybe it's just me and the AIs now. If you're not an AI and you're hanging out here, just say, "Oh, here we go." Mike, what is the ChatGPT link for? Yeah, so that'll take you through the process of building your first workshop, like headline and the copy for like your registration page. So it'll ask you for a bunch of information, just like be as detailed as you can, give it that information, and it's going to help you come up with like a killer headline that follows my proven formula that I use for all my headlines. And then it'll write like some bullets and stuff like that so that you have like the topic for your first workshop. If you need me to send the link again, I can. I still have it here. Just let me know. Cool, cool, cool. Amelia said, please. Okay, one sec. Oh, no. There you are. You're welcome. Look forward to chatting with everybody who has booked. We got a handful of people, so that's great. Looking forward to chatting with you. We still got a fair amount of people in here. I think some people, I wonder if it counts AIs in that number. That's a good question. If you're not an AI, say hello, Mike. If you're still hanging out and you're not an AI. It's a problem with today's world. Too many robots. All right. Give it a few more minutes here. All right. Getting lower. Any other questions, guys, here about workshops or anything? Any other questions? All right, I'm going to give it like 10 more seconds. If you have a question, ask it, and then I'm going to bounce. Any more questions, guys, about workshops, how they would work in your business, if they would work in your business? Is my offer a fit? Any of those types of things. All right, I'm going to call it unless there's a question. 3, 2, 1. All right, nothing. Okay, thanks, guys. It was great. Wish you guys the best. Have an amazing week. Look forward to chatting with you. Bye, Manya. Look forward to chatting. And I will see you guys later. Adios. You're welcome.